Hey everybody, this is Joe Joseph, and this is the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. I want to go over something that I started to go over yesterday with designer babies. And this is one of the articles that in my prep for that I ran into. It's a Time magazine piece from 2 years ago or so. Interestingly enough, it was written by a guy named Dr. Guy Ringler. Now, he's a board-certified physician in obstetrics, gynecology, and reproductive endocrinology and infertility. Remember that he's a partner with California Fertility Partners. Okay, as we get into this piece, get ready for embryos from 2 men or 2 women. Okay, so again, you know, this whole thing about designer babies has made me ponder about a lot of things. The biggest thing I think about this is the fact that there really is no public discourse about this topic because it's politically incorrect. I'll get into the reasons why it's politically incorrect. But also the way that news media hypes it and then demonizes people when they may not agree with the argument that's being made. And you can't have an argument with one side as well. Okay, so and the way that it ends up happening is somebody that comes out and says, well, hey, I don't agree with that. They get bludgeoned over the head and beaten and bullied and everything else until they shut up, basically. It's no different than government suits coming and knocking on your door, you know, trying to scare you into submission. Only in this case, you know, it deals with something that really is nobody else's business but yours yourself. This whole idea of, you know, sexuality being, you know, so public and out front. You know, part of the problem that we have here is the politicization and the let me try that again. The sensationalizing of sexuality. And that makes people, again, afraid to talk about it, you know? They don't engage in debate or even talk about the spiritual part of sexuality. God forbid we actually go down that road. Well, we're going down that road today. You know, this whole idea of becoming one flesh. It was reported, and it's been known for a long time, that women absorb the DNA of every male that they sleep with, and they carry it with them for the rest of their life. It actually becomes part of them, you know, and that has consequences in and of itself. But by creating this market also for designer babies, you know, the fact that they can make these babies just from the skin cells or the stem cells of, say, 2 men, 2 women, even a man and a female, it doesn't really matter. You throw off the natural balance of things. Think about this. You know, there is a nature has a way of keeping itself in balance. When it goes out of balance, you end up having a sort of violent reaction. You know, say, for example, we overpollute the planet. Let's just say, for example, that humans are responsible for global warming. Why then? The planet would have a way of catastrophically correcting itself in order to survive. You know, it's happened over the course of time. Well, humanity, there's a nature within us as well, a natural balance of male and female. And in many cultures, males are preferred over females. Over in India, they're thrown away in the trash. That's what made Mother Teresa a world-known person that eventually was, you know, granted statehood by Omni Domini Pope, right? So, but she was known for going and taking the girls out of the trash and, you know, bringing them up in an orphanage and giving them a place to go, a place to live and survive and learn and actually have a chance at life. Now imagine, if you will, the designer babies come along, and now all of a sudden, you know, in these cultures, you can have the male that carries on the family name, and that male can be exactly the way you want it to be. By God, we can engineer it down to the color eyes, the physical attributes, You know, is he going to be inclined to do math? I mean, I'm sure they can make you right-brained or left-brained, or it doesn't really matter. I'm sure the sky's the limit as they continue to go down this road. And you have to wonder, too, in this engineering or editing process, this creation of synthetic life, what else are they throwing into the mix as they conduct this editing process? You know, what other attributes or even commands, you know, these dormant commands that perhaps will only activate when triggered by other external stimuli that they know is going to happen. We'll say, for example, they know for a fact that there is a vaccine schedule and that more often than not, people follow the vaccine schedule. Well, who's to say that they don't put in some sort of attribute that is triggered when they get measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine? See, you don't know, nor I'm sure you'd have a very hard time trying to find anything extra they add into the mix, any other editing that takes place. And how would you know? How would you be able to verify that? Where would be some sort of oversight to prevent that from happening? You know, these are very real questions that we have to ask ourselves as we go down the road of playing God. Because on the spiritual side of things, we're creating basically a soulless person, in my humble opinion, because it's not happening within the standard, the natural creation process. What are we making with this synthetic life? Although it may appear human, although it may act human, what is it missing? Is it missing a soul? You know, and what are the implications and the consequences of that? You know, can these people then be easier to be inhabited or possessed by demonic entities to fill that void? Here we are punching holes in the veil at CERN. God knows what we're letting in, right? And now you're going to make basically vessels for these things to inhabit. Again, very real consequences that need to be debated and or philosophized on, because if we don't, then we're being negligent, not just to us, but to our progeny. I mean, it's crazy. And since God really has been removed from society, it makes these discussions, it makes this type of video that I'm doing right now nearly impossible to have, because they're deemed politically correct and you're vilified for it. When in reality, I don't care what you do. If you want to be, instead of Frank, you want to be Francine, knock yourself out. I don't care. Again, that is your business and your business alone. Shame on those in the mainstream media who should be totally and completely unbiased and be totally and completely driven by the truth, because the truth is the story. They should be reporting things in an unbiased manner that doesn't take sides, that doesn't try to push things and propagandize things, especially sexuality. It just makes this all the more difficult to go over the good and the bad, you know, the plus and the minus. Now, I have done that, and I'll tell you what I'm coming to find out is there's a lot of things that people aren't considering because they are choosing to be willfully ignorant of some very real consequences that can take place. Okay, huzzah, 2 men or 2 women can have children now. Okay, to some people that would be a benefit. I'm not going to take sides in this because that's not what I'm supposed to do, but I can tell you that we should be very careful about going down the slippery slope of playing God, because always there have been many historical examples of when we do, there are always things that are realized that we didn't bargain for. So we should really be careful. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. Have a great day, everybody.